Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue.
Speak life.
Death and life in the power of the tongue. Live your life, love Christ, do your best to
Speak life.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Speak Life podcast. We are excited to have you with us for another wonderful week. I am your host, Minister Phoenix, alongside, the one and only is not here once again, but we do have a very, very young co-host. This is my youngest son, Timmy. Say what's up, Timmy.
Hello.
And he's going to be our co-host for the week. So this should be interesting. I will say, out of all of my children, he's probably the one that's most like me, which is kind of scary. So shout out to y'all for joining us. I'm going to give a shout out to our listeners, all our subscribers, all our fans. Even if this is your first time listening to us, we appreciate you tuning in with us for this episode. I'm going to give a quick plug for the book. If you haven't gotten the book, go and get your copy of the book, When Three Roads Collide. We have been getting really good reviews about the book. The book is good. You will love it. It will bless your life. I'm telling you, you get that book, you pick it up, you won't be able to put it down. So go get the book. You can find it on Amazon. You can get it on your Kindle. You can get it on iTunes, Google Books, Goodreads, you name it. You can probably find it anywhere. When Three Roads Collide, go check it out. It'll be a blessing. So we're just going to jump right into the episode. Now, with this pandemic that we've been in since March, I think that really sprung this episode. We always think about, how adults are dealing with this, but today we're going to get a different perspective on it. And I think if I had to title this episode anything, I think it would be Pandemic Perspective. Ooh, Pandemic Perspective. All right. Yeah. So we're going to jump into it. Now, like I said, we've been in this pandemic since about March. So since you are my co-host and I'm older than you and I tell you what to do, I'm going to pose this question to you. This will be your first question as my co-host. And, you can't replace your mom. But so since the pandemic began, what's the biggest thing that in your opinion, that you've had to worry about with this whole pandemic thing?
I think it's most likely, like how long it would last.
Did you think it would last this long?
No, I thought it was going to be like maybe few weeks, maybe 1 month, then done. But it's like about to be about 11 months.
Surprise, it didn't end. It's not over yet. And we don't even know when it's going to be over. But I think with me, I think I had some of those same issues. It's like, I thought it was just going to be like a few weeks. And then like, lo and behold, here we are. It's almost December and it's still no end in sight. I think another thing like I was worried about was like getting sick. Oh my gosh, that was scary. Or like, someone in my house getting sick, either you, your siblings or mom. And I'm like, oh no, because it's nothing nice, this COVID thing. So, I think for me, that was probably one of the biggest things I had to worry about. But thank God, we all doing good.
Yep.
We all doing good. So question number 2, sir. If you could pick one thing that you miss the most from normal life, and when I say normal life, I mean like pre-COVID, social distancing, pre-mask wearing, all that. If you could pick one thing from what I would consider to be normal life that you miss, what would it be and why?
I think it would be like traveling and seeing more of my family, because like this summer we couldn't really like go anywhere.
We went nowhere.
Like the only place we could really go is like really like places that don't require like us like driving mad far away or like going on a plane.
Yeah, we drove a whole lot of nowhere. We went to Dairy Queen. That's where we went to. We did do a lot of Dairy Queen trips. You know, we didn't do like we normally would try to do our normal family vacation. And we were scheduled to go to Jamaica this year. COVID? You stopped my Jamaica trip. I was looking forward to some nice blue water, some nice white sand, some palm trees, you know, some happy people. Instead, we got stuck here because of you, Cove. All because of you. Not very happy about that. I definitely do miss the traveling aspect. I think if I could pick anything pre-Cove that I would say that I miss, I think it would be like really just little trips to like restaurants. I love the craziness of family trips to the restaurant, especially now with little Gracie running around. You know, it makes it that much more exciting to see how the wait staff tries to like deal with her screaming, and then like the people looking around at you like you're crazy because because you have this little person sitting at your table who is making all sorts of noise and disruption. That is the best. I definitely miss those moments. I think if I had to pick, I think those would be one of the ones that I definitely miss the most. Mm-hmm. So, sir, how's this remote learning thing going for you?
It's pretty good. I feel like it made really school a bit easier because they can't really give you like a whole stuff of like work.
Yeah, they can. Why can't they?
Not really.
Because you know, if they did, you'd be doing it. You would definitely be doing it.
Because it would be like way harder to do it like at home when you can't do it like with pencil and paper. Like with like writing stuff and like typing, it would like just be way too hard.
So if you had to pick on which one you prefer, would you prefer like if there was no COVID, life was normal, would you prefer being in-person schooling or would you prefer the remote schooling, and why?
It's a hard choice, but
come on, you gotta choose. You gotta choose. You gotta make up your mind. You gotta commit.
I think I'd rather be at school.
Really?
Yeah, because like
wow, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. This boy said he would rather be at school than remote learning. Okay, state your case. Why? Why school instead of home?
First, because really, it would be easier to do the work because you could just like write it down instead of like typing. And it would be nice to actually like play outside. You
can play outside.
Like play certain games. Like you can't really do kickball by yourself.
Yeah, I can see the difficulty in that.
But also at home you got like for your breaks you could just like sleep on the couch or sleep in bed. And also you could just like when it's like lunchtime, you could just like if you don't want the food that's at school, you could just eat whatever you got at home. So it's a hard choice, but I got to say I'd rather be at school.
Wow. I think they both have their advantages and they both have their challenges. Mm-hmm. I think as a teacher, there are certainly challenges to teaching kids at home, from home, not at home and from home. If you're a teacher with kids, you got double duty. I feel the pain from both sides. If you're a parent who's never appreciated teachers, I think there's one thing that Cove has taught you, that your teachers for your children are to be valued. Because we actually do a whole lot that people don't realize. But I think some of the challenges of remote learning for me is like trying to keep your students' attention, because I feel like when we're at home, there's so many distractions that they don't have when they're like in the classroom. Like they're not gonna be in their pajamas laying in their bed when they're in the classroom.
Not gonna be watching TV.
No, they're not gonna be watching TV. They're not gonna be on YouTube. They're not gonna have their camera off playing Fortnite in the background. You know, remote learning definitely has its challenges. But one thing that I do love about, you know, the whole working from home piece is I get a lot more time with my family. Mm-hmm. I think that is one of the cool things. You know, it's not as hard to stay on top of my kids to see if they're doing what they're supposed to do. I'm just like looking at the time and I look at what they're doing like, don't you supposed to be in class? When's your break over? How come you ain't doing no work? Is that what you're supposed to be doing? So keeping that watchful eye on them is a lot easier. I know what they're getting into and what they're not. I know exactly who they're around. There's no peer pressure during remote learning. The only pressure you got to worry about is me telling you to go clean your room, wash them dishes, do them chores. That's the only peer pressure you're getting. You know, so I think that's one of the definite pluses of remote learning. But I think there's really no substitute for teaching in a classroom. I think it's just the effectiveness of being able to teach students and build relationships and have that rapport is definitely irreplaceable, and remote learning definitely makes that challenging. However, in spite of all that, you know, I feel like with this time of year, it is always a time to think about what we have to be grateful for. And even though we've been in a pandemic for March to now, that's like 8 months, going on 9, give or take, probably a little longer. You know, my math sometimes is off. But like, in spite of all that, you know, what are some things that you're thankful for with this year, with, you know, everything?
I think I'm thankful for like spending more time with my family, because I feel like it's really fun to like be done with my homework and then like I'm just like playing around with my baby sister. It's like mad fun. It's just really fun.
That's cool. And I think I can relate to that, because like I remember when everything first started and it was like everything was shut down, and it's like we were just home. Like everyone was home. It was like the Quarantine Chronicles. You know, I think that was one of the things that I was most grateful for in this pandemic time, was the fact that we were spending a lot more time. You know, we were hanging out a lot more, playing a lot more games, and, you know, then when we came back to school, it felt more like a school year and got a lot of busy. But even in the midst of it, you know, we still get that time to, you know, spend time together. And I think that's definitely cool. I'm also very grateful for the fact that, you know, none of us got sick. That was huge, because that was one of the things that was definitely on my mind. And you could see how we would like act like when it came time to like come in the house from being outside. It was like, wash your hands, put on hand sanitizer, take off this, take off that, throw all your clothes downstairs, make sure you like Lysol everything. So we were like, what? If we could have Lysol'd each other, we probably would have. Like, get this Lysol on you, you gotta decontaminate. You know, because, you know, the cove is scary. The cove is really scary. And I'm just really grateful that, you know, by God's grace, we were able to really not have to worry about that. And I think that for me was a huge thing. A huge thing. Mm-hmm. So last question. And this is kind of like a sideball question. You know, if you could change anything about this year, you could pick anything that you would change, what would it be and why?
It's hard, but I think the only thing I would change is really not being able to like travel. places and see certain people. Because, like, when we're supposed to go to Jamaica, I'm like...
I was looking forward to that trip. I was like, we about to get some authentic Jamaican patties and, you know, jerk chicken that I don't got to make. And, you know, coconuts from the trees and all the beautiful fruit. Oh, my gosh. I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to the food. I don't know if that's okay. Like, most people are like, I want to go for the trip. I was looking forward to the food. I was like, yo, we about to be feasting on the Jamaican cuisine by the beach.
Like, I don't even know if I've been there.
No, I don't think you've been to Jamaica. You haven't.
But, like, that would be my second trip being on a plane that I could remember.
Boy, you've been on a plane before. You went to Florida twice. You went to Disney World before I went to Disney. That doesn't even make sense. Like, you've been on a plane before I even got on a plane. Like, when the first time I got on a plane was when me and your mother went to General Assembly in Texas. First time ever being on an airplane, you know. But you made it to Disney before I did. You made it on a plane before I did. So, you know, but I can definitely, you know, relate to that one. If I could change anything, I think I would probably jump on board with that, with the traveling thing. I really like to get away. I enjoy like seeing other places, and, you know, although you can still do it now, I think it's with it how it is now, it's just really not the same. And if I could change anything, I think I would get it back to that point where it was like safe to be able to do all those things and, you know, just leave the house without have to take too many precautions with that. So, all right. You got anything else you want to say to the people? By the way, this is an aspiring YouTuber right here, by the way. You know, so be on the lookout for him when he starts YouTube, and I'll have to start putting in plugs for him. Like, yeah, go check out my son's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So how does it feel being on a podcast?
Feels nice. Like, it's more than I would think it would be, but it's actually really fun.
What do you mean by that? More than you think it would be?
Like, I thought, like, we would just, like, be sitting here talking, laughing, and then, like, it would just be over. But, like, it's actually more than I really thought it would be.
All right. Well, we're happy to have you. And, you know, so we're just going to wrap here. And if I could leave y'all with anything, it would be this. You know, we have our perspective on how we see things. But take some time to talk to your children, and you might get a interesting take on how they're looking at the same things that we're looking at, you know, because they see it a lot different. So with that being said, remember, death and life are in the power of your tongue. So make sure that you speak life. All right. Have a great week. Don't forget to like. Oh, don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And if YouTube lets you, I don't know if they're going to let you, because we do have a child on this week's episode. They may disable the comments. But if they don't, make sure you comment to join the conversation. And don't forget, when three roads collide, go check it out. It will inspire you. All right. Have a great week. Have a great week.
Bye.